I tell you what, apparently it's the end, I don't think it really is, it's the end of an era for Apple. The tech giant has announced it's replacing its iTunes Music download service after 18 years. Well, some will say it could be 15 years. It will now become 3 separate platforms: Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, and Apple TV. Zoe Kleiman is our tech reporter and is going to take us through. Zoe, good to see you.
Hello.
So it's not going, is it?
It's not going. This being an Apple announcement, it's a bit clear as mud, isn't it? Basically, it's going to be kind of, I've used the word dissolved, I think that's a good word, into those 3 new apps. You'll still have your downloads if you've got them. They'll still appear on a sidebar in Apple Music. If you've got the app will still exist. If you're on Windows, this isn't going to affect you at all. iTunes is not going to change in the slightest. But what it does show, doesn't it, is that change again. You know, we've gone through an evolution here from records to CDs to MP3s and now to streaming. Apple's saying don't download anything, just subscribe and you can have this enormous library of music.
So it's only the music side. So I'm sorry, I'm being dumb here. Can I go into my iPhone and go into iTunes for other apps still?
You will be able to have the app. The app is not disappearing.
Yeah, right.
I mean, but I think what we'll see is it will probably over time start to get less support. Apple's really, really pushing its streaming services now. Right. It wants to move away from being a hardware firm to being more of a services company. And we saw that start earlier this year, and now we're seeing the sort of next stage of that, if you like.
Yeah, and it's obviously got to start relying on making more money from the services as everybody's got these iPhones already, or smartphones. There was also a lot of talk about privacy. In fact, Apple's chief software bloke came out and said privacy is a fundamental human right. And then they're talking about these location notifications. To explain that.
Right, so this all happened last night. There was a big developers conference in San Jose in the US, and all of these announcements were made, including the thing about iTunes. But I actually think this privacy thing is more important. Apple has been really trying to clamp down on other third parties trying to get hold of your data. So it's doing that in a couple of new ways now. Number one, you know, sometimes you go to an app or a website and it says sign in with Facebook, sign in with Google. Right. You know, use an existing account. Apple says don't do that, because by doing that you're giving that party access to that profile of your social media. So it's created a new sign in with Apple. If you use that, all they will get is you signing in with your device. Won't get any of your data, won't see any of your social media.
The rivals are going to hate that, aren't they?
It's a big deal because, of course, this data is very, very valuable. Apple's also going one step further. When it says you need to give us an email address, Apple says, fine, we will make a randomised spoof email address that this firm will get. If they email that address, we will forward it to you, but the firm will never, ever have your actual email address. So once you delete the app, they've lost all ways of contacting you. It's doing something else. Often these apps like to know where you are. It's going to hide that. They won't be able to work it out. It's really interesting.
It is. So we're taking it down to the wire here. I've got to say goodbye. Thank you very much. Follow me on Twitter at BBC Aaron Sport Today. Up next. Bye-bye.